The NAWSA stands for National American Women's Suffrage Association and will be our topic today. This group, made February 18, 1890, stands for Women's Rights. This shows the Women's Suffrage Parade of 1913. This was the first parade in Washington, D.C. It was organized by Alice Paul for the NAWSA. Thousands of suffragists marched on the Monday of March 3, 1913. Something that stems from this is the fact that in 2016, the U.S. Treasury Department said that it would be remodeling the back of the $10 bill. This is supposed to feature an image of the women's suffrage procession, which will include Lucretia Mott, Sojourner Truth, Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, and Alice Paul. These will be shown on 2020, which is the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment being ratified. This group was put together by two groups. This was the NWSA and the AWSA. The $10 bill along with the $20 and $5 bill will be unveiled this time as well. The founders of this group were Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Carrie Chapman Catt, and Lucy Stone, while the presidents were Susan B. Anthony, Carrie Chapman Catt, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Anna Howard Shaw, and Caroline McCormick Slade. These next few pictures will show a familiar face known as Susan B. Anthony, who was the first president of the NAWSA. Many of the women in this group made the pamphlet, Coming Eventually, Why Not Now? A very important woman throughout history was Lucy Stone, who was one of the founders of the NAWSA. She is not shown on our board. She was born August 13, 1818, and died October 18, 1893. She married Henry Brown Blackwell in 1855 and wrote the book Loving Warriors. Stone got her education at Oberlin College and Mount Holyoke College. She founded four groups, the NWSA, the AWSA, the NAWSA, and the AERA. She was titled as a prominent U.S. orator, abolitionist, suffragist, and local advocate and organizer for rights for women. Stone became the first woman from Massachusetts to earn a degree. Another important woman is Alice Stone, who is Lucy Stone's daughter. She was born September 14, 1857, and died March 15, 1950, at age 92. She was first denied her parents' beliefs, but then became like them. She was an educator and worked for the Women's Journal. A very important thing about her is that she solved conflict between the AWSA and NWSA, who were at each other's throats. Another very important woman is Lucretia Mott. Mott was the leading voice of abolitionists and other women suffragists during this time. Mott helped form the Philadelphia Female Anti-Slavery Society in 1833, and she also helped establish the Swarthmore College in 1850. Lastly, she was head of the AERA. Another very important woman was Sojourner Truth. Truth was born in 1797 and died in 1883. Truth was an African-American abolitionist and women's rights activist known for her speech, Ain't I a Woman, that she delivered in 1851. Truth was born into slavery, but in 1826 she escaped with her infant daughter. She dedicated her life to what she believed in.
Caroline Slade was born 1878 and died in 1979. She was president in 1896 and again from 1947 to 1951. She was a fundraiser for Bryn Mawr College. Slade joined the College Equal Suffrage League in 1912, becoming chairman in 1917. She was inactive in war service work. Carrie Catt was born January 9, 1851 and died March 8, 1947. Catt was president 1900 to 1904, again in 1917 to 1942. She was a teacher and superintendent in Iowa School. She organized campaigns, mobilized volunteers, and delivered speeches. She founded LOWL and married a newspaper editor and a wealthy engineer.
Susan B. Anthony was born February 15, 1820, and died March 13, 1906. Susan B. Anthony was president of the NAWSA from 1892 to 1900. Anthony taught for 15 years and became active in temperance, but she wasn't allowed to speak at rallies. This, and and Cady Stanton led her to join the women's movement in 1852. She soon dedicated her life to this. Anthony taught and lectured around the world. Anthony also campaigned for the abolition of slavery.
Elizabeth Cady Stanton was born November 15, 1815, and died October 26, 1902. Stanton was president of the NAWSA from 1890 to 1892. Stanton helped organize the first women's convention in 1848. Stanton fell in love with Henry B. Stanton, her first husband, and they had their honeymoon at the world's first anti-slavery convention. She and her first husband, Anthony, created the National Women's Loyal League on behalf of the constitutional abolition of slavery. Stanton tried to make a connection between black and women's suffrage. She also made the Women's Bible, which got her censored by the NAWSA. Anna Howard Shaw was born February 18, 1847, and died July 2, 1919. She was president of the NAWSA from 1904 to 1915. Shaw was known as the honorary president of the NAWSA. But Shaw was much more than that, as she was a physician and chairman of the Women's Committee of the Council of the National Defense, and chairman of the Committee of Suffrage and Rights of Citizenship. Shaw was awarded a medal for her medical work during war, and she did many lectures and had a secretary named Lucy B. Anthony, who was Susan B. Anthony's niece. Some of the many things women dealt with during the 1800s was that they were always considered second-class citizens. They could not obtain education or any jobs. When married, they could not own property, they could not keep wages, and they could not sign contracts. As you know, they could not vote. This major movement lasted 70 years, lasted 3 generations, and involved millions of women. Thank you for listening to our project.